Welcome back, everybody. This reading is going to be for Geminis. We're going to do a quick energy check in. We're going to look at one life cycle that you're going through right now. So, a life cycle just sets us up to learn something or experience something. So, we're going to look at what's going on in the setup. We're going to look at the lesson or experience, and we're going to look at what happens as you incorporate that lesson or experience into your life. So, let's put some cards down, Gemini, and let's see what is going on in your world? Okay, so I can already see we're going to have to clarify one of these cards, but we're not there yet. First thing that I'm looking at does talk to me about your environment, Geminis. And so, what I'm seeing with your environment is right now, this environment, whether it's home, the gym, work, whatever this environment is, it's someplace where you have energy or effort invested. But there are things falling through the cracks about this environment. So this could be that maybe not all the bills are getting paid, or this could be that there's something that is broken and it sort of interferes with ease of life in that environment. But bottom line is something in your environment is sort of falling through the cracks. So something needs attention in your environment. Next thing that I'm looking at talks to me about your subconscious leanings. And so when we look at subconscious leanings, these are things that are kind of going on in the background program of our mind. They're not necessarily something that we're acting on just yet. And it looks like I think that you guys are really thinking about a person that's in your sphere of influence. And this is going to be somebody who is less mature than you, possibly even physically younger than you. This is somebody who is very energetic, very outgoing. They like to make people laugh and smile. I do feel like this person is probably younger than you. And I think there's something going on in your subconscious where you're trying to sort through. It feels to me like there's something that you would like to do for this person, but you're not exactly sure how to do that or exactly how you want to do whatever this is for this person. And your subconscious is really working on how can I make this thing that I want to do for this little person? How can I make this happen? Now, next thing that we have coming up, Gemini's talks to me about two different things. First of all, your learning style, and secondly, your communication style. Okay. So when I look at learning style, I feel like you guys are incredibly intelligent, and I feel like there's a lot of stuff going on around you, and your curiosity has you picking up new information all the time just because you're observant, you're paying attention, you're asking questions. So I don't see this necessarily as formal learning. For most of you, it's not formal. It's just very much those things that draw your attention. You ask questions and you learn about them. Now, as far as your communication style, this is really interesting because I feel like for a lot of you, a lot of your communication right now could be very vague and confusing when you're talking to people. You're not necessarily wanting them to know all the details about what's going on in your life. You're kind of putting people on a need to know basis. And if they don't need to know, you certainly don't need to tell them. And that's exactly how you're handling it. Now, the next thing that I'm looking at talks to me about work. And so work can be that thing that you do to make a living, but it also can be something that you're doing to feel fulfilled or satisfied, or like you're contributing to your family or your tribe or your community. So I think that a lot of you could be doing some work from home. I've got a chariot in reverse, which means we're not going anywhere. The other way that this can be manifesting wouldn't necessarily be working from home, but it could be this idea of maybe you had some kind of work trip that was on the books to be taken, and now you're not taking that. You're staying in the local area. And then the other thing is you could have been considering maybe I want to switch companies that I work for or switch departments. This says that kind of movement is not happening. So basically for work, one way or the other, movement is not happening. Things are staying status quo pretty much, even though there might have been plans for movement to happen. Okay. Next thing that I'm looking at talks to me about that part of your personality, which is growing or expanding right now. You've got something going on that is making you happy. But at the same time, I think that as you're recognizing it's making you happy, you actually want to step this up to the next level. So you want to involve whatever this happiness making thing is more in your life than what it is right now. And so where you're growing and expanding is in actually doing that, actually stepping that up, figuring out what you need to say, what you need to do to bring more of whatever this happiness is into your life, whether that's upgrading a relationship or spending more time on a hobby or a project. So that's where I see you growing or expanding right now. The next things I'm going to look at are going to talk to me about something that you stand up for, which basically means somebody is going to be coming to you about this and asking you to explain it, or they're going to be crying, whining, and complaining, or they may even be doing some kind of all out confrontation. So, what's really interesting here is what you're standing up for is this idea that some things have happened that were disappointing. I can see that in this card, but you're not letting that slow you down. Instead of, having a pity party or moping around about the disappointments, what we see you doing, Gemini, is we see you focusing on, okay, well, yeah, that kind of was awful, but what's next? What's the next thing that I can do? Where do I go from here? So, once again, you're not letting it slow you down. And somebody doesn't understand why you aren't holding a grudge, why you aren't having a pity party, why you don't seem to be affected by those disappointments. You just haven't stopped going forward long enough to be affected. And I think as you explain to somebody why you're not letting those disappointments hold you down, they are this person really is not that happy about it. I think this person is somebody who themselves, they kind of glory in having a pity party for themselves. So they don't understand when someone else is not having a pity party. They think there's something wrong there. And they're very judgy and critical about it. They may even be giving you a really, really hard time about moving forward. They may want you to come back and look at these disappointments and make somebody pay for them or whatever. And in fact, I want to clarify a little bit more about their attitude. It's a very toxic attitude. I want to see a little bit more about exactly what's up with them. Yeah, it looks to me like they feel like your reputation has been tarnished and like you should really be making people pay for that idea that your reputation has been tarnished. And they feel pretty strongly about this too. This is a situation where you may have to tell them, I'm handling this. I'm handling this my way, which happens to be a little bit more healthy than me putting all this energy into something that's disappointing and wasting it when I could be spending it on something that's productive and helps me move forward. And besides, we all know that if there's something going on where somebody's tarnishing our reputation and then we react to that, all we do is we make that bigger. We don't want to make that bigger. That is never, ever, ever, ever what we want to do. So, anyway, this person would like you to. They don't understand how energy works, apparently. So, let's look at your lesson or experience of this time frame, which may or may not have already started. It does look like you are feeling very sentimental about something from the past. There's some kind of past memories showing up. Sometimes people can come back from the past and bring those memories with them. So you may have a sibling visiting, or you may even have an ex visiting that you have good memories with. But there's something that's bringing back memories of the past, possibly even memories of childhood. Doesn't have to be, but could be. So something bringing memories back. And these are positive memories. These are good memories. Excuse me. So at the same time that that is happening, it looks like when these good memories show up, that actually is causing you some relief. It's relieving some stress that you've been under. It's like whatever pressure this other toxic person was putting you under, having these memories of how things used to be, or, having somebody, maybe it's a good friend from the past coming around, that person, where these memories lift you up and they help you recognize that, you know what, I am doing the right thing. So we like that they're bringing relief. And also, I think that whatever this is that's showing up from the past, this is really inspiring you to make some type of long-term plans. You could be making some travel plans, but it doesn't have to be. These can be other types of long-term plans. And so these good memories are really inspiring you towards something that you want to create for yourself in the future. So you are planning some new things. And then where we see you at the end of this life cycle, Geminis, is we see you really coming up with a fantastic new idea that you can get really excited about moving forward with. Now, it is an idea once we get to the end of this life cycle, so it's not something that we see you taking action on just right away, but it's something that you can choose whether you're gonna take action on it here in the near future, or are you gonna let this idea die on the vine? That's gonna be up to you, but you do have an idea show up that you could really get behind. You could be very passionate and enthusiastic about if you start taking action on it before you just let it dissipate like a bubble in the wind, okay? So, great idea showing up. Be aware, take action if you wanna pursue that, and, wow, very nice ending to this energy check-in here. So thank you guys very much for being here. I do appreciate it. Everyone have a fantastic day. Peace out.